I want to show you a few things that we've been working on, as Marley said, sort of in the background. And it goes to what I was saying earlier, which is like, obviously this sits on the foundation, which is your CRM data and the data that you're gathering and amassing inside of the AltVia world. It has the ability to interact with other systems as well, and those systems are pretty vast in the number of that they could be. So I'm showing you a prompt here that's like, this is kind of not a real prompt because I'm already in Texas, but we're going to Texas in June. I want to meet with some people, put this list together, which I can do, and it will go through and sort of look at all of the investors and the fundraising opportunities that I have, both in Austin and in Houston, and start to gather that list. And as we said earlier, AIMe is not just a retrieval tool. It actually thinks about this data as it's happening. And so it's considering like, who should you really talk to and what should we talk to them about, means that it needs to do more than one query. It's not just going and looking at the fundraising table. It's actually looking at interactions. It's looking at the last interaction date. It looks at the summary of the information that you've actually talked about in those meetings to take into account a variety of different things. And so again, I gave it a pretty vague prompt. You can give it a much more detailed prompt. You really do have to think about this like an intern that's very capable, but the more detail you give it, the better the results are when they come back. So we got some information, which is good. There's a couple of companies that I can talk to in Houston and in Austin. And I want to do a few things. So first of all, like, imagine I'm on a train, I'm into the office, I'm on my mobile. The first thing I want you to do is just draft up an email for each of these investors. Like, again, you're my intern. I'm not going to let you talk to my investors directly, but you can draft up an email and ask them for an early meeting and include the information that you sort of came up with in this, and then just dump it in my email box. So when I get into work, it'll be there. And I'll show you how that portion of it works. So like, now we should have a draft that's got all the information in there, which is nice. I can review it. It's waiting for me when I get in. Sort of, again, the idea that it's setting the table for me. And then the other part of this is like, and I will sort of skip ahead on this part, is I need to meet internally with Lucas and Marley and sort of talk about what we're going to talk about on this road trip. So export the data that we just talked to a Google Sheets, because we're Google, not Microsoft 365 here. And then create a meeting next Tuesday, check availability, and then add a calendar event for those two folks. So it has the ability for to export the data. I'll show you that portion of it as it works through this as well. I think it's working on it. Yep. I'm impatient. So now I've got my roadshow meetings with the information that we talked about in that roadshow, which is good because then I can share it with Marley and Lucas. And then it created a roadshow planning meeting with the link in it and invited those two folks. So like, table set, it didn't do anything, miraculous for me, but it did help me sort of, when I get to work, the things that I'm going to be able to do from that standpoint. And those are the sorts of things that we're working on, is just finding places of friction, trying to keep you in the flow, and try to give you ways to take those repetitive tasks off your plate so that you can do more high value stuff.